American birthrights up in the air. The president makes waves today after announcing he wants to end the practice. Thanks for joining us. First at 4, I'm Meredith Land.
And I'm Brian Curtis. In the final days before the midterm elections, President Trump is taking a hard line on immigration, saying he wants to end birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to non-citizens. NBC's Jennifer Johnson reports from Washington.
1 week ahead of the midterm elections, President Trump is trying to excite his base with a promise he may not be able to keep. He says he's working on an executive order ending the constitutional right to citizenship for babies born in the U.S. to non-citizens.
We're the only country in the world where a person comes in, has a baby, and the baby is essentially a citizen of the United States for 85 years with all of those benefits. It's ridiculous.
In fact, more than 30 countries allow birthright citizenship. And here in the United States, it's written in the 14th Amendment, meaning the president's plan could end in a Supreme Court showdown.
This is a proposed executive order to rewrite the long-standing understanding of what citizenship means according to the Constitution. It's outrageous.
But not so outrageous for some Trump supporters.
You got pregnant women that are coming, you know, they're supposed to be coming 1,000 miles away just to have their baby over here. Now, that's not right.
Still, the polarizing message could backfire.
All they want to do is get a better life for their family. That's the only reason why they travel here.
Democrats trying to turn the president's messaging against him.
Americans already know who Donald Trump is. The question is, who are we?
As the president sends 5,200 troops to the border to confront a migrant caravan, he's gambling his focus on immigration will help Republicans keep control of Congress next week. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Joining me now to discuss the president's possible move is legal expert Byron Henry. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
First of all, what does the 14th Amendment say exactly, and is it open to interpretation?
Well, with so many things aren't always what they seem, but in this case, it's pretty close. The 14th Amendment says that persons born in the United States and subject to its jurisdiction are citizens. That simple. The only question is that subject to its jurisdiction. There's been a little play in that before, but the vast majority of reputable scholars have pretty much come down on the side that it means what it says. If you're born here and we can enforce the law against you, you are a citizen, and that's pretty much the way it's been treated for over 100 years.
So the president's talking about an executive action here. Does the president have the legal authority to do what he's talking about?
Well, certainly has the legal authority to sign an executive order subject to challenge and the Constitution, but the question becomes not just can he revoke citizenship, but also being the head of the executive branch and all of the administrative agencies with their power over immigration, whether or not he can curb some rights and actually mess with the immigration rights of those born here to non-citizens around the edges as opposed to just taking away their rights entirely.
So if the president were to do this, this would almost certainly be challenged. What would that legal process look like?
Well, it depends on the scope of the executive order. Obviously, if he simply revokes birthright citizenship, then of course my citizenship, and I suspect yours and a lot of people that were born here to citizen parents would be in question. The question would be who could sue, who could bring the action. Interest groups, could it be actual people here that were undocumented or people that were born to undocumented parents? But it would take the same form as the travel ban. It would be a lawsuit to try to enjoin the policy until it worked its way through the courts, which would probably take a while.
What about precedent here? Is there any legal precedent on the subject of birthright citizenship?
Well, in 1898, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled in a case called the Wong case that if you're born in the United States, the text of the Constitution means what it says. Interestingly, this is one good thing that came out of this is that a lot of people on the left and the right are now actually focusing on the text of the Constitution and what it meant when it was ratified as opposed to people's interpretation. But right now, the scholarship seems to be that if you're born here, you're a citizen.
Really interesting topic. Byron Henry with Sheaf and Stone Solid Counsel, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your insight. We appreciate it.
Certainly.
Meredith, back to you.